Year 3 of being detained by a scam gang, the police raided the den in one fell swoop. In the interrogation room, an older cop, his eyes red-rimmed, asked me, "Why didn't you run back then? You had chances to ask for help when you went grocery shopping." I looked back at him blankly. Why would I run? Here I can eat without stepping on a scale. Even if I have half a bowl of plain white rice, no one yells at me. The older cop was stunned. My biological mother enforced a strict body management regimen on me. Eating one extra piece of meat meant 2 hours of standing as punishment. Weighing over 80 pounds meant being starved for 3 whole days. But my younger sister could eat fried chicken and drink bubble tea every day, and my mother would watch her with loving eyes, saying she was still growing. At 17, I fainted on the street from low blood sugar. When I woke up, I didn't hesitate to follow that tough-looking woman. Why would I run? Here I can eat without stepping on a scale. Even if I have half a bowl of plain white rice, no one yells at me. The older cop was stunned. His name was Michael, 53 years old, a veteran backbone of the Criminal Investigation Unit. He'd seen murderers, drug dealers, all kinds of scumbags. But he'd clearly never seen someone like me. Someone who was unhappy about being rescued. "What's your name, young lady?" "Nora." "How old are you?" 20. He flipped through the case file, then looked up at me. His eyes were complex, confirming something. "You went missing at 17. Your mother, Luna, reported it the very next day." Hearing the word mother, I instinctively flinched. Michael noticed this detail. "You don't want to go home?" I didn't speak. He asked again. "In that scam den, what exactly were you responsible for?" "Cooking." "Just cooking?" "Yeah, making 3 meals a day for over 20 of them." Michael frowned slightly. Usually, people tricked into going there either made scam calls or handled money laundering and transfers. I was an exception. "Why did they only have you cook?" "Because I'm a good cook." That was the truth. I'd learned to cook since I was 8. Not because I loved it, but because my mother didn't allow me to eat outside food. She said the calories were too high, it would make me fat. So I had to cook for myself. Less oil, less salt, everything boiled, measuring every gram of ingredients. That was my daily life. Michael closed the case file and handed me a bottle of water. "Get some rest first. I'll have someone buy you something to eat." 20 minutes later, a young policewoman brought in a boxed meal. Braised pork ribs, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, a big bowl of white rice. I took it, my hands trembling slightly. Not from fear. From habit. With the first bite of ribs, I instinctively waited for someone behind me to yell, "Eating meat again? Look at your waist, you're like a pig." No sound. I took another bite. Still nothing. Then the tears fell. The policewoman was startled. "What's wrong? Doesn't it taste good?" I shook my head and buried my face in my food, continuing to eat. It was good. So good. This feeling of not having to sneak, not having to be terrified, not having to stick my fingers down my throat after eating. It was really, really good. Michael stood outside the interrogation room, watching me wolf down the food through the glass. The young officer beside him said, "Michael, I contacted her mother. She was crying uncontrollably on the phone. Said she'd come to pick her up immediately. Don't let her come yet." "Huh? Why?" Michael didn't answer. He took out his phone and pulled up Luna's report from 3 years ago when she filed the missing persons case. In the report, Luna cried her eyes out, saying her daughter was the apple of her eye, that she cried every day, that she'd give everything she owned just to have her daughter back. But this daughter would rather stay in a scam den than go home. Something was missing here. Michael lit a cigarette, pacing back and forth in the corridor. He'd been a cop for 30 years. His gut told him this case wasn't that simple. I didn't really want to think about my childhood. But Michael said he needed to make a statement. "What exactly was your mother's body management like?" I thought about it. Since I can remember, there was always a scale at home. It was placed by the bathroom door. The first thing every morning was stepping on it. If the number exceeded my mother's set standard for that day, I couldn't eat anything. What was the standard line? 50 pounds in elementary school, 60 in middle school, 75 in high school. Michael frowned. "How tall are you?" 5'5". 5'5", 75 pounds. What does that even mean? I don't know. I only remember my school uniform hanging loose on me back then. In winter, my hands and feet were always purple. Running the 800 meters in PE class, I'd see black spots halfway through. The teacher told me to go to the hospital for a checkup. My mother said no. She's just lazy, doesn't like to exercise, that's why she has low stamina, my mother said, smiling at the teacher. When we got home, her face changed. You dare complain at school? That night I was made to stand for 4 hours as punishment. What about your sister? Marissa. 2 years younger than me. Mentioning Marissa made the corner of my mouth twitch involuntarily. Marissa and I didn't look alike. She took after my mother, round face, big eyes, fair and chubby. I took after my father, long thin face, single eyelids, larger bone structure. My father left when I was 10. Not died, just divorced and never showed up again. My mother said, your father doesn't want you anymore because you're too ugly. Marissa could eat fried chicken. Marissa could drink bubble tea. Marissa could have 3 bowls of rice and another bowl of soup. My mother would smile and pat her head. Eat more, you're still growing. Then she'd turn to me. What are you eating? Look at your weight. Once I was so hungry. I snuck a piece of cake from the fridge in the middle of the night. It was leftover from Marissa's birthday. The next day my mother found out. She didn't hit me. She made a whole table of food. Braised pork, sweet and sour fish, cola chicken wings, all Marissa's favorites. She made Marissa sit opposite me, eating loudly and messily. And in front of me only a bowl of plain water. Watch your sister eat. Remember this feeling. Who told you to sneak food? Marissa chewed on a chicken wing, tilting her head to look at me. There was curiosity in her eyes, and also something I couldn't understand then but figured out later. It was enjoyment. She enjoyed this comparison. So you hate them? Michael asked. I thought for a long time. No. Why? Hating is too tiring. I just don't want to go back. Michael was silent. He got up, poured a glass of warm water and placed it in front of me. Do you have any scars on your body? I rolled up my sleeve. There was a scar on my left forearm. How did this happen? When I was 14, my mother thought my waist was too thick and made me wear a waist trainer. It was too tight, chafed the skin, got infected. Didn't go to the hospital? My mother said it was just a little skin break, don't be so dramatic. Michael put down the recorder. He walked out of the interrogation room. In the corridor, he said one thing to the young officer. Go check what Luna has been doing these past 3 years. Especially if she used her daughter's disappearance to pull any stunts. The young officer was stunned for a moment, then nodded and ran off. That summer when I was 17, the heat was suffocating. That day I weighed myself. 78 pounds. 3 pounds over my mother's set limit of 75. No food for 3 days. Her voice was very calm, with no discernible emotion. I hadn't eaten for 2 days already. On the 3rd morning she told me to go to the market and buy pork ribs. Your sister wants to eat sweet and sour ribs. Buy 2 pounds. Wearing a faded white t-shirt, I walked on the street in 38-degree heat. The sun had softened the asphalt. Every step was soft, without strength. Or maybe it wasn't the road softening. It was my legs going weak. When I reached the entrance of the market, my vision suddenly went black. When I woke up again, I was lying in a shady spot. A tough-looking woman with a full face was fanning me with a palm leaf. Next to me was a bowl of mung bean soup. Awake? Have a sip. I sat up, leaning on my hands, and instinctively said, I can't drink it, it has sugar. The woman was stunned for a moment. What sugar would mung bean soup have? Just added a little ice. She shoved the bowl into my hands. Drink it, you're so thin, if you don't eat something you'll die. I held the bowl and took a sip. It was cold, faintly sweet. Actually, it did have sugar. She lied. But I pretended not to know and drank it all in one go. Young lady, where's your home? I'll take you back. I don't have a home. No home? Then where do you live? I didn't speak. The woman looked me up and down, sighed. I have a job here, room and board included. Will you do it? What job? Cooking. Cooking for the workers. 3 meals a day for about 20 people. What about pay? Work first, settle at the end of the month. I knew this was probably a scam. I was 17, not stupid. But I turned my head and looked towards the market. That was the way home. Going home meant continuing to starve. Continuing to watch Marissa eat fried chicken in front of me. Continuing to hear my mother say you're too fat. Continuing to wear that waist trainer that chafed my skin raw. I stood up, brushed the dust off my pants. Let's go. The woman was very surprised I agreed so readily. She took me to a van. There were 3 other people inside, 2 men and 1 woman, all looking down at their phones. The car drove for about 4 hours. The windows were tinted. Couldn't see the road outside. We arrived at a remote farmhouse. A 3-story building, iron gates, iron windows. Clothes were drying in the yard. The aroma of food wafted from the kitchen. The woman pointed to the kitchen. First, check what's in the fridge. Make a 4-dish, 1 soup dinner tonight. I opened the fridge. Eggs, pork belly, greens, tofu, tomatoes. Fully stocked. I stood in front of the fridge, stunned for a long time. How much of this stuff could I eat if I wanted? The woman came over and patted my shoulder. If you're hungry, cook yourself a bowl of noodles first. Dried noodles on the stove, eggs in the fridge. I cooked a bowl of noodles, poached 2 eggs, added a spoonful of lard. With the first bite I cried. Not from grievance. It was an indescribable feeling of relief. This bowl of noodles, no one would yell at me for it. No one would make me step on the scale. No one would call me a pig. I just squatted by the stove, crying and eating, finishing the entire big bowl. The woman passed by the kitchen door, glanced at me and said nothing. Later I found out. Her name was Hannah. The 20+ people in this building. All were running telecom scams. And I was the cook she'd picked up off the street. After a month at Hannah's place I gained 8 pounds. This was the first time in my life I felt happy about gaining weight. 86 pounds. If my mother knew, she'd starve me for 3 days. But Hannah just looked at me and said, "Still too thin. Eat more meat." My daily job was just cooking. Get up at 6, cook congee, stir-fry dishes, steam buns. Big pot dishes for lunch, varied meals for dinner. Cooking for over 20 people was quite a workload. But I didn't feel tired. Because I could eat while cooking. No one cared. The people in the den were quite polite to me. Not because they were kind. Because I cooked well. Before I came, they ate instant noodles and takeout. Since I arrived, the food quality improved dramatically. A kid with bleached hair would give me a thumbs up after every meal. Nora, with skills like this, you could open your own restaurant and be a hit. I just smiled and said nothing. Nora. That's what they called me. No one called me useless girl. No one called me loss-making goods. No one called me pig. After 3 months, I was completely integrated into life here. I knew they were doing illegal things. Scamming old people's retirement money over the phone. Impersonating customer service to scam young people's loans. I could hear the endless scripts from the next room. Auntie, there's a problem with your social security card. You need to cooperate with us to verify your identity. I knew it was wrong. But I couldn't do anything about it. I just cooked. One night, Hannah had a bit to drink and sat chatting with me in the yard. Nora, haven't you ever thought about running away? I shook my head. Run where? Home. Don't your parents look for you? I didn't answer. Hannah glanced at me and didn't press further. This woman, she wasn't a good person. But she wasn't pure evil either. She never beat or scolded her Sosha. And she was fair with sharing the money. She was just in a shady business. I had several chances to run when going out to buy groceries. The market was full of people. I could have run to any vendor and said help. But I didn't. I picked out 2 pounds of ribs, a bunch of scallions, a piece of old ginger, and walked back the same way I came. By the 2nd year, I was managing the entire kitchen independently. Hannah even gave me a raise. $3,000 a month, deposited into a bank card she opened for me. I saved it, didn't spend it. Didn't know what I'd spend it on in the future anyway. Days passed like this. Ordinary, full stomach, safe days. Until the 3rd year, when the deafening sound of police sirens suddenly erupted outside the window. That day I was simmering pork rib soup in the kitchen. The sound of the iron door crashing open was very loud. Freeze! Police! I turned off the heat, covered the pot, wiped my hands, then raised my hands and walked out. The yard was full of police in bulletproof vests, guns aimed at everyone lying on the ground. Hannah was pinned down by 2 officers, face in the dirt, still cursing. The bleached hair kid was squatting in the corner, shaking hands on his head. I was led aside by a policewoman. Are you a victim or a suspect? I'm the cook. The policewoman was stunned. Later, after interrogation and investigation, the police determined I was a marginal person involved under duress, not directly participating in the fraud. Plus, I was a minor when I went missing, so it was considered abduction. So my status was rescued person. Rescued person. How ironic those three words are. When Michael first saw me, he thought it was just another routine rescue case. Young girl tricked into a den, tortured, finally sees the light of day again. He had his comforting words ready. Then he found no relief of escaping disaster on my face. No crying breakdown. No excited gratitude. Only a calmness he couldn't read. Or rather, numbness. Your mother is already on her way, said the young officer, Xiaozhang, running over. I sat in the chair, suddenly starting to shake. Not from cold. From fear. Can you not let her come? Xiaozhang thought I was just shy. It's okay, your mother has been looking for you for 3 years. She misses you so much. I didn't say anything else. 2 hours later Luna arrived. She was thinner. Her hair was a bit grayer. Wearing a not new coat. Clutching a plastic bag. As soon as she entered, she cried. Nora, my Nora. She lunged to hug me. I instinctively stepped back. Her hand froze midair. Nora, Mom's here to take you home. Her voice trembled, tears streaming down. The officers nearby all had red-rimmed eyes. Such a touching scene. Mother and daughter reunited after 3 lost years. But only I knew her tears were real. Just not shed for me. Michael stood at the end of the corridor watching this scene. He noticed a detail. When Luna rushed in, her first move wasn't to look at me. It was to scan the recording equipment and cameras in the interrogation room. Only after confirming they were recording did she start crying. Michael's expression changed. Luna insisted on taking me home. She's my daughter, she's only 20, she needs her mother's care. She said this to Michael, tears still on her face. Michael didn't agree immediately. According to procedure, rescued persons need a psychological evaluation and physical examination before they can be handed over to family. Luna got anxious. What psychological evaluation? She's my own flesh and blood, not a criminal. Ms. Zhao, this is standard procedure. Luna was temporarily arranged to wait in the reception room. Before leaving, she turned back and looked at me. To others, that look was a mother's deep affection gazing at her daughter. But in that look I read another meaning. Don't say anything wrong. I knew that look too well. Growing up, whenever outsiders were present, she'd give me such hints. At the hospital. Doctor, she just doesn't like to eat. I've tried everything to persuade her. At school. Teacher, this child is just too stubborn. She's gone overboard with dieting. In front of relatives. Nora takes after her father, she just doesn't gain weight no matter how much she eats. Everyone believed it. Because Luna acted too well. She was always the mother who worried endlessly. And I was always the disobedient child. The psychological evaluation results came back quickly. Sequelae of severe malnutrition, moderate depression, severe anxiety, eating disorder. The report also stated, she shows obvious stress responses to the word going home. Michael took this report and walked into the reception room. Ms. Zhao, I have a few questions for you. Luna wiped her tears. Go ahead. What was Nora's weight before she went missing? Luna was taken aback. This? I don't remember clearly. Probably around 80 or 90 pounds. Her physical exam after being rescued shows she is now 92 pounds. That's her weight after 3 years in a scam den. Meaning she gained more weight there than she did at home. A momentary crack appeared in Luna's expression. Quickly repaired. Then they must have forced her to eat it. Those bad people don't understand nutrition. Her school medical records show her weight from the 2nd year of middle school to the 2nd year of high school, never exceeded 75 pounds. And she is 5'5". Michael stared into Luna's eyes. Ms. Zhao, a girl of 5'5", weighing consistently under 75 pounds for years. Is that normal? Luna's lips moved. She's just the type that doesn't gain weight no matter what she eats. And your other daughter, Marissa? Her records show that during the same period, Her weight was between 120 and 130 pounds. They have different constitutions. Different constitutions? Michael slammed a copy of a document on the table. Nora's homeroom teacher said Nora fainted from hunger in class 3 times. Her deskmate said Nora never ate lunch, just lay on her desk trembling during lunch break. Luna's face went pale. It's teenagers choosing to lose weight. Ms. Zhao. Michael interrupted her. Your daughter told us in interrogation that you enforced a body management system on her. Standing punishment for eating an extra piece of meat. Starvation for exceeding the weight limit. She's lying. Luna shot up. That child has always been a liar. Then explain the scar on her left arm from the waist trainer chafing. How did that happen? The reception room fell silent. Luna sat back down, lowered her head. Was silent for about half a minute. Then she started crying again. I did it for her own good. Girls can't be too fat. I was bullied as a kid for being fat. I didn't want her to go through the same thing. Luna cried very convincingly. Snot and tears all over her face, voice hoarse, body shaking with sobs. I'm her mother. Would I harm her? I just had the wrong methods, but my intentions were good. If I didn't know her, I might have believed it too. Unfortunately, I knew her too well. She'd been practicing this script for over 10 years. Michael wasn't swayed. He had Xiaozhang retrieve Luna's social media history and bank statements from the past 3 years. When the results came back, Xiaozhang ran to him with the computer, expression strange. Michael, look at this. On the screen was a short video account. The account name was Searching Mother Luna. Followers, 470,000. The profile picture was Luna holding a childhood photo of me, crying. The pin video title. Day 1096, Nora. Mom is still waiting for you to come home. Michael scrolled down. Every video showed Luna crying in front of the camera. Crying in my room. Crying holding my clothes. Crying at the spot in the market where I fainted. Every comment section was full of stay strong. So sad. Such great maternal love in this world. And under every video there were links for tips and Aishin donation QR codes. Xiaozhang pulled up the associated bank account's transaction history. 3 years' time. Fan tips plus various platform. Distressed mother assistance funds plus social donations. Total. 1,170,000 yuan. Michael snapped the pen in his hand. Where did this money go? Spent on what? Xiaozhang scrolled through the consumption records. Mostly used for the younger daughter. Marissa goes to a private school, tuition is 60,000 a year. Also a large amount of shopping expenses, dining out, beauty salon treatments. Any expenses related to searching for Nora? Xiaozhang was silent for a few seconds. Apart from the initial police report and printing a few hundred missing person flyers, none. And the cost of the flyers was covered by the community and volunteers. Michael closed his eyes. 1.17 million yuan. Money earned from a missing daughter. She never wanted me to be found. Because once I came back, the searching mother persona would collapse. Tips would stop. Donations would dry up. Luna wasn't looking for her daughter. She was cashing in on her. When Michael re-entered the reception room, Luna was touching up her makeup. Seeing Michael come in, she quickly put away her compact and put on that sorrowful expression again. Officer, can I take Nora home now? Michael sat down opposite her. Placed the stack of printed bank statements on the table. Ms. Zhao, your searching for daughter business seems to be doing well. Luna's fingers twitched slightly. 1.17 million. That's not a small amount. Luna's face flushed crimson instantly. Then, she cried again. That money was given voluntarily by kind-hearted people. I didn't force anyone. You are suspected of using false information for online charity fraud. We will conduct further investigations. Until the investigation results are out, Nora will not be handed over to you. Luna's crying suddenly stopped. She looked at Michael's eyes. There were no more tears. Only calculation. On what grounds are you detaining my daughter? I am her legal guardian. Nora is 20 years old. She is a fully capable civil actor. Michael stood up. Where she goes, she decides herself. I was arranged to stay at the city relief station. Michael helped me find a psychological counselor, whom I saw twice a week. The counselor's name was Lin. A woman in her 30s with a soft voice. She asked me, "What are you most afraid of?" I thought for a long time. "The scale." "Okay." She didn't press further, just nodded. During the second session she asked me, "Do you think you're fat?" I looked down at my arm. An arm weighing 92 pounds, veins visible underneath. "I don't know." "What do you think counts as thin?" "Under 75 pounds. "Who told you that?" "My mom." Teacher Lynn pushed a BMI chart in front of me. "Compare your height and weight to this chart." I found my spot. Severely underweight. This chart is the medical standard. Your weight needs to be at least 100 pounds to be considered normal range. 100 pounds. This number instinctively terrified me. Over 10 years of discipline isn't easy to change. My mind knew my mother was wrong. But my body, every nerve still obeyed her commands. When eating, my hands would shake. After eating, I'd instinctively look for a toilet. Seeing the scale, my heart rate would spike to 140. These reactions were beyond my control. Teacher Lynn called it post-traumatic stress disorder. I said no need for such fancy terms. Simply put, my mother had conditioned me. Ring the bell and I salivate. See the scale and I stop eating. On the third day at the relief station, Marissa came. She was taller and also fatter. Wearing a branded down jacket. Carrying a bag whose name I didn't recognize. Her first words to me were, "Sis, how come you gained so much weight?" I was stunned. 92 pounds. Gained so much weight. Marissa sat opposite me, looking me up and down. "Mom asked me to come see you. She's being investigated by the police and can't show herself lately." "She sent you?" "Yeah. She told me to tell you, don't talk nonsense to the police." Marissa pulled out her phone and showed me a WeChat message. It was from Luna. "Tell your sister to keep her mouth shut. That money was hard-earned savings, nothing to do with her. If she dares to talk nonsense, don't even think about stepping foot in this house again." Looking at that message, I suddenly laughed. Step foot in which house? The one that starved me until I fainted. Marissa frowned. "Sis, Mom did it for your own good. Look at you now, your face is rounder, your chin is gone. Go back and let Mom help you manage." "Marissa," I interrupted her. "When you eat fried chicken and drink bubble tea every day, do you ever wonder why I'm not even worthy of half a bowl of rice?" Marissa rolled her eyes. "That's because you have a bigger frame, you show fat easily. Mom said you and I have different constitutions." "Different constitutions?" I stared into her eyes. "You're 130 pounds, I'm 75. Who should be eating less?" Marissa was stunned by my words. Then she got angry. "What do you mean? You're calling me fat." "I'm not calling you fat. I'm asking why can you eat normally and I can't?" "Because you're supposed to be thinner. You have a big face. You have a big frame. If you're not thin, you're just not good looking." Marissa's voice grew shriller and shriller. "Mom gave you the best of everything, paid for your school, bought you clothes, and you just run off with someone for 3 years? Mom cries for you every day, do you even know that?" I watched her quietly. "She cries every day, that's true. In front of the camera. The kind that earns 2,000 in tips per video." Marissa's expression changed. How do you know?" "The police told me. 1.17 million. Your private school tuition, your branded bags, your fried chicken and milk tea. All bought with my disappearance." Marissa stood up. Lips trembling, face flushed red. "So what? You ran away yourself. Mom didn't sell you." "Yes, I ran away myself. Because even cooking in a scam den felt more like living than being at home." Marissa was chosen in donations for searching for her daughter was frozen, pending restitution. On the day of the verdict, I didn't go to court. Michael asked if I wanted to. I said no. "I don't want to see her again." Michael nodded and didn't press. He pulled a business card from his pocket and handed it to me. "This is the contact for the Municipal Women's Federation. They have a long-term assistance program for victims of domestic violence. Accommodation, job training, psychological counseling. All covered." I took the card, turned it over in my hands for a long time. "Can I choose what kind of work I want to do?" "Of course. I want to be a cook." Michael paused, then smiled. "Good." A month later, I enrolled in a city culinary training school. The tuition was covered by the Women's Federation Assistance Program. There were 20 students in the class. I was the youngest. The teacher asked everyone to make their signature dish. I made a bowl of tomato and egg noodles. The broth was made from whole tomatoes simmered down. Noodles cooked until just done. 2 poached eggs. Finally, a drizzle of lard. The teacher tasted it and slammed the table on the spot. With noodles like this, you could work the line immediately after graduation. Classmates gathered around to taste, chattering about how good it was. I stood by the stove, suddenly remembering that night in Hannah's kitchen. Same bowl of noodles. Same me squatting by the stove crying as I ate. Difference was those tears then were bitter. These now were sweet. After graduating from the training school, I found a job at a small restaurant. Salary $4,500 a month, room and board included. The work wasn't easy, but I wasn't afraid. I was only afraid of going hungry. As long as I had enough to eat, I could do anything. The old chef in the kitchen was a man in his 60s, grumpy temper, cursing people out constantly. But he never cursed me, because I worked quickly, never slacked off, and the dishes I made were popular with customers. One day after closing, the old chef handed me a popsicle. It's hot, have one. I took it and bit into it. Cream flavor. Chef, how much? I'll pay you back. Get out of here worrying about money over a popsicle. I laughed. Days passed like this. My weight went up to 103 pounds. Not fat. Just right. Teacher Lynn said my psychological evaluation was much better than 3 months ago. The eating disorder indicators are basically back to normal. Your anxiety about weight is also decreasing. But one thing still needs attention. What? You need to learn to accept that you deserve to be treated well. This isn't charity from others. It's what you're entitled to. I thought about this sentence for a long time. Honestly, haven't fully grasped it yet. But I'm trying to understand. On weekends, Michael sometimes comes to eat at the restaurant. He always orders the same dishes: braised pork ribs, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, a big bowl of white rice. After every meal, he says the same thing. Your cooking keeps getting better. Once, after finishing his meal, he hesitated. There's something I need to tell you. What? Your sister Marissa contacted the Women's Federation. She wants to see you. My chopsticks paused. What did she say? She said she wants to apologize to you. I was silent for a while. No meeting. Okay. Michael didn't ask further. He paid the bill and turned back at the door. Nora. Huh. Are you doing okay now? I thought about it. Looked down at the ladle in my hand. It held half a scoop of freshly simmered rib soup. I brought the soup to my mouth. Scalding hot, delicious. Soup I could drink without anyone's permission. I'm doing fine, I said. It was true. The most luxurious thing in this world isn't branded bags, private schools, or 1.17 million in tips. It's a bowl of plain white rice you can eat in peace. No weighing. No standing punishment. No looking in the mirror after eating and calling yourself a pig. It took me 20 years to understand this truth. The price was a bit high, but I finally understand. After closing that night, I cleaned up the kitchen, cooked myself a bowl of noodles, poached 2 eggs, drizzled with lard, sat in the empty restaurant slowly finishing it bite by bite. Outside the window, the streetlights were dim. Someone was singing in the distance. Out of tune, but it sounded nice. I washed the bowl, put it back on the rack, turned off the lights, locked the door, walked into the summer evening breeze. Weighing 103 pounds, I stepped on the ground. Every step solid and steady,